And nobody, including me, will ever cipher Dr. Khalwale or any Kenyan from putting the president to account. I want to say this. Every presidency begins with a honeymoon. And a president wakes up with advice, not threats. With persuasion, not intimidation. And it was a good move the president made the other day to begin to dismantle what was clearly losing the confidence of Kenyans. And I remember Jomo Kenyatta reached a point where he could not work with Jaramogi, Oginga Odinga. And he made a decision to bring in Kadu. And his whole government changed. And Jomo Kenyatta was defined by that decision. If you go to Moi, there was a time even Nicholas Biwott, his right-hand man, was held at the GSU headquarters. And even Hezekiah Oyugi was held over the murder or alleged murder of Robert Ouko. And what I am simply saying is that there is a genuine cry and call by Kenyans to have the president step up the issue of security and to overhaul his house. All I am simply saying, you do not do that the Raila Odinga style of coup d'etat of 82. You don't do it by marching and taking over the office of the president. You do it the way Khalwale is doing it tonight. Telling the people, hold on, these issues are important, these things must be discussed, and it is important for the president to hear them. It is important for the president to listen. It is important for the president to act. All I am saying, we have a constitution that we voted for as Kenyans. One government at a time. You get 51 plus 1% of the vote, and half the counties, 25%. We give you 5 years, Your Excellency, Mr. President.
Okay.
If you fail, we go back to the people. What I am trying to avoid is the idea that anarchy is an option, or people can go through what you call civil unrest, etc. It happened in the Arab Spring. Those countries like Egypt have collapsed. There is no law and order, it goes off. I have no problem with Khalwale. I see him peacefully demonstrating on the streets. And I see policemen protecting him and greeting his hand. But the problem is the people who are behind Khalwale, the men in black. When Khalwale has passed, they attack everyone. There's no problem with him, demonstrating, but he cannot control the people. That is my problem.
Let me ask
Jeff, before you ask me,
yes.
I want to respond a little bit. My brother started with big English, defining intelligence. Literally, that's what you're saying. But I'm a scientist. Scientists, we have a scientific measure of defining intelligence. In science, we define it in intelligence quotient. A doctor like me has a triple-digit intelligence quotient. Some people, many of them, have double-digit. A few, like the ones I see fumbling in security, have single-digit intelligence. Now, Tony,
yes,
do not politicize the fight against terror. The things you've talked about, Kenyatta dumping Jaramogi, Moi doing Biwott and so on, those were choreographed things to achieve certain ends. That was not the fight against terrorism. Politicizing the fight against terrorism is like one. When Mpeketoni was hit by El Shabaab, none other than the commander-in-chief called cameras and told people that this was the work of local political networks. And Olelengu followed it up and said that we in CORD were recruiting Mungiki and MRC to destabilize this country. That is politicizing the fight against terror. If you wanted to congratulate the police, I left that place because they tear-gassed me. They never greeted me.
Maybe I may forgive you.
Next question. Let me ask you real quick.
Boni is actually a very honest man, because before he joined ODM, I was director of protocol. And I actually had many meetings where Raila was with mine and Jacob Mungeki. And actually, he may not have known. So one day I'll tell him about those meetings.
Okay.
But anyway, that is the
Before we go to break.
But anyway,
before we go to break.
Before we go to break. But now,
before we go to the question.
I am saying, I want Boni for president. I am saying, after the president finishes his term,
yes,
I have no problem proposing Boni for president.
Totally.
As long as, please, can I make this?
You want to propose it for president?
Yes, and I tell you why. Because a man talks so well, Kemunya must go, is very good. This must go, very good. But now, the only way to become president is votes. And now because I want him to be the next president, I want him to know he must get about 6 million votes, not votes from one area or one region. So I would advise him.
Yes. Okay. Elections later.